Alright, so this is Elephant Rocks State Park, and it's all these rock formations, but there's a half-mile loop trail that goes all the way around. So I just read about how they were formed, took some pictures of it. I'll put it at the end of this video if anybody's interested, but just basically huge boulders that are left after erosion. So it's kind of a neat park though. It's just a couple of kids in the background. I'm the only other one here, so should be a decent walk. So this area here is along the trail, and it's a rock quarry that's been filled in with water, and part of the stone here was actually used in St. Louis and other cities. So the reason that it's called Elephant Rocks is because all these huge boulders look like giant elephants in a herd. And since this is near a quarry, I don't know how well you can see that on camera, but that date right there is 1893. And this one here, 1893. But master stone carvers would actually carve their name into the boulders once they became masters of their trade. And you can actually see them all over the place here. But the trail up here takes you throughout all these boulders, and this down here is just one of those trails, and then you got to squeeze through just areas like that. So pretty neat little spot. I like it. And to give you a feeling for the size of these things, so that's a full-grown tree, and these things are about 3/4, I'd say, as high as the tree. Yeah, that one I'm not going to go through. I think I can get around it. So these boulders right here sit on top of a huge dome, and on the other side is a pretty nice view. And erosion just caused all these things to just stay here. It's kind of weird if you think about it. Amazing at the same time. And then there's a bunch of smaller ones down there. Everything just seems so out of place. Well, my camera is about to die, but if you're ever in this area, it is definitely worth a stop over. It's one of those things you can't really appreciate unless you stand next to it and see it yourself. But just the view from up here is worth the walk. But these boulders, there's just something surreal about them. And then if you look at how they're placed, I mean, at some point they're just going to start rolling. But yeah. This place has my vote. Definitely come check it out if you're in the area. Alright, so I'm heading to a free campsite that I found, and it is in Mark Twain National Forest. Sorry, I had to roll my windows up before the mud gets in. And this is road CC2228, I think. So this is NF2359 is the name of the road. and I believe it dead ends. Alright, this looks like this is it. And I did not see a single person coming out here. It's a Friday night, so I think I'm probably going to be all alone. It looks like, yeah, there's what looks like the remains of a couple of campfires in this area, so I'm just going to park this on a level spot, and that's going to be it. So the location that I am at is the Bell Mountain Wilderness, Lindsay Mountain Trailhead in Mark Twain National Forest. And here is the registration box, but inside there's a surprise when you open this. Got a couple of wasps in there, just waiting. This is obviously a well-visited spot. There's a campfire ring there and then another one here, but there's no streams or anything like that nearby. I didn't run across any running water across the roads, but still a cool spot nonetheless. I'll have to look on the map and see where that trail goes and maybe even hike that tomorrow before I head out of here. So now that I'm in the Jeep, I'm kind of trapped. As I was putting everything in order and had the doors open trying to move stuff around, mosquitoes were buzzing in my ears and all around my head and everything. And so now that I'm in here and I've got the lights on, as it gets darker outside, they're going to be drawn to that. So luckily it's really nice out tonight. It's going to be nice and cool. It was cool already before I even got in here, so I won't have to worry about keeping the windows open or having my USB fans going. I do have another fan in here that I could turn on, a battery operated one if I want to, or even plug in my USB fans and put it in the cargo net above my bed and just have it blowing down on me if I want. But I really like having them in the windows and blowing that cold air in. But I haven't wrap them in mosquito netting yet. I have to find that. I have it written down somewhere as to where that is, but I really need to get on top of that because it is starting to get pretty warm in the evenings, and I'm going to need to do that more often. So note to self, I really need to get around that. When I'm in Texas, I'm actually going to be there at my buddy's place for like 4 or 5 days, so hopefully I don't turn lazy and not do the things that are starting to pile up that I need to do when I'm in there. In that area, I mean. So that's the plan anyway. But let me show you a little bit about what happens when I'm sitting inside my Jeep. When I was actually at the campsite a couple of nights ago and I met that couple, Mark and Becky, they were kind of, I guess they felt bad that I was in the Jeep all day the one day, and I tried to explain to them, I said, it's not, to me, it's not that cramped. It is cramped. It's in the back of a Jeep Cherokee, but I can stretch out and I can lay in bed, and I'm actually very comfortable in here. Even, you know, with this water bottle at my feet, I can completely stretch my legs. I've got a table to cook on, well, what little cooking that I do, to boil water or boil, you know, make soup or whatever. So I'm actually very comfortable, and where I have the phone right now, that's where my laptop is. So I've got room to move around. I'm going to be fine in here until I decide to crawl into bed, and it's actually kind of enjoyable when it's not too hot. I don't mind it at all. I can sit and, you know, try to get my videos done for YouTube and watch a movie, and it's nice. And, you know, even though I was at a hotel last night, I don't miss the hotel at all. I actually really like this. I like the quietness of it all, and it's a nice night. So let me show you. So sorry for the camera angle. I can only move away from the object so far, but there's the battery fan that sometimes I use. I'll just kind of plant that on my chest and have it blow in my face if it's really hot. But there is my laptop. I just have it set up on the bed. I really hardly ever get the laptop out. The first movie I watched was 2 or 3 nights ago, and most of the time I only open up this laptop to transfer files off my phone onto my terabyte drive. Other than that, I don't use it all that much. I use my phone for just about everything. So here is my table set up, and that's the same table that I was in my kitchen video. I just put it sideways, and then underneath here, a light would really help. So my water bottle is turned sideways down there, and then I've got a small parts storage container above it. And then the table, it'll sit sideways like that without anything underneath it, but those two things actually keep it even more sturdy. And then there's dinner. I've got a cucumber and a pepper, and ramen, and then there's my cooking box. So I will just set up my Coleman stove right in the middle of this table and crack a window, and it just, you know, it only takes a few minutes to make dinner. I'm right here, I'm not looking away from it. So but if anything were to happen, I do have a fire extinguisher there, and I have another one right behind me. But like I said, my eyes are on it the whole time. So other than that, I can stretch out all the way. My feet go right up to the water bottle there. Even if I'm at an angle a little bit, I'm not sitting just straight up. And I can actually turn that the other direction, and then I will have, I can stretch out even more, because I'll have, I don't know, about this much that goes all the way back to the tailgate. So it is comfortable for me. Every now and then my butt gets a little sore because it is bony, but I've got everything I need right here. And to be honest, when I'm, you know, watching a movie or when I'm cutting video, it really, the time goes by so fast that before I know it, I need to go to bed. So, and then there's everything that's usually in the back of the compartment when I'm not sleeping in it. And then over here are my two backpacks. So those I'll move before I go to bed, because I always keep my driver's compartment open when I'm sleeping in the Jeep so that I can jump up front. And I know that I've said this in another video, but I think it was on my other channel, and I don't think a lot of people have seen that one. So that's what it looks like when I'm in here, and the bed is extremely comfortable. So I sometimes won't even get out of that, to be honest. And then here I finally picked up some just some little clementines, or, you know, whatever you call these things. So those will be good over the next few days. Other than that, I will just stay cooped up in here the rest of the night. I'll explore more of the Mark Twain National Forest, and then decide if I want to go over to the Ozark Lake or lakes before I start heading south and going through Arkansas. So a lot of planning to do, or maybe I won't do any at all. I haven't really been doing a whole lot of planning, to be honest, other than spur of the moment or maybe a couple hours ahead of time, because usually when I do plan, it does not work out that way, and it changes within hours or the next morning or something. But I'm good with it. That's how I like it. That's why I planned this trip this way, so that I could do what I want when I want, change my mind when I want, and just see what happens. So anyway, that's it for me for the night. I am going to make dinner. I'm going to watch a movie, actually. American Beauty again. I just watched it the other night. That is one of my favorite movies. The musical score in that is just incredible for the movie. And there's just something about it that I really like. It's kind of dark, but at the same time, it's just a really cool, interesting movie. So anyway, that's my night. It is Saturday afternoon, and I have been pretty lazy all morning. I'm actually rocking the glasses because I changed my contacts yesterday, and I think I put them in the wrong eyes, so I couldn't read a damn thing. So rather than try to put another set in while sitting in the Jeep, because I'm terrible at it, I just slapped on the glasses. But last night it rained like crazy. I've actually got the tarp drying out because I had to use it because the hatch still leaks. I don't think it leaks as bad, but it's still leaking. I really haven't paid much attention to it. I'm gonna have to get on that sooner or later. And there it goes. So I did have to also put in the USB fans, because it was pretty, even though it wasn't that warm out, it was warm enough that with the rain, it really caused a lot of condensation on the inside of the windows. I actually got them up a bit too late. So that's one of the things I got to do. I got to rip out my back panels, which I hardly ever take out because they are a little damp. So I've got to dry everything out while I'm driving, and put this thing back together. I was going to stay a second day, but the sun is out. It's actually turning out to be a pretty decent afternoon. and I think I'm going to move towards, I don't know, I think it's part of the Mark Twain Forest, but it's a river refuge area, and I think it's about an hour and something from here. I don't know about camping there, so I'll have to figure out where I'm going to stay tonight, but I figure instead of just being lazy, I'd get up and get moving. I just spent 2 nights in the same place not that long ago. I could do it again, but I don't know. I just feel like doing something, so if I feel like it, may as well do it. So now I just got to sort out a few things in the Jeep, reconfigure everything, and get back on the road.